Hi there, I'm Calla Cela. Welcome to the GIMP for Second Life presents Modes. Part 1, the lecture. In the Layers Dockable dialog, which you find by going to the Windows drop-down menu at the top of your canvas, then selecting Dockable Dialogs, and finally Layers, you will get a Layers Dockable dialog. In this dockable dialog, there is a word that says mode, and over here there is an arrow. If you click this arrow, it will show you all of the modes that you have to select from. Modes are a method of changing the hue, saturation, brightness, and transparency of a layer using a mathematical formula called an algorithm, so that when blended to the layer that is visible below it, can cause changes in the way you see the combined layers. Since modes affect how layers affect each other, I will primarily use two different layers, an upper and a lower. This layer, this blue paisley, will be the upper layer, the blended layer. And this layer, the gray one with black, gray, and white in B, G, and W, as well as a gradient that starts with black at the top going to white at the bottom with shades of gray in between, will be the base layer for most of the demonstrations. We will also use this layer of partly selected pixels for the demonstration for dissolve. This is normal, the first mode. It is the default. Basically with normal, what you see is what you get. Now, before I show you dissolve, I'm showing you the two layers. The top layer is that partly selected pixels layer, and beneath it is the blue layer. And you can see through it where the pixels are semi-opaque or semi-transparent or transparent. Now, when you apply the dissolve mode to it, in the partially selected pixel areas, it randomly selects pixels, causing it to look dissolved, hence the mode. Multiply usually results in a darker image. This algorithm is fun. It multiplies the pixel values of the upper layer with those of the layer below it and then divides by 255. If the layer is white, it has no effect. If it is black, it turns the image black in the areas where the black is. Divide inverts the blended layer. Blacks and whites come across as black and white. Screen causes all the black pixels in the layer to become ineffective. So you can see the original blue background on those. And anything that's 50% or above in the grayscale will lighten the image. Overlay darkens the image and it increases the intensity. Again, note white stays white, black stays black. Dodge. Dodge lightens the image when the underlayer is anything but black. You notice that black stays black and white comes out as white, and the shades of gray get lighter and lighter as it affects the image. Here you can see that the blue actually becomes kind of turquoisey looking. Very interesting. Now burn darkens the image. Note again how the image is more turquoise at the bottom where the grays are light. Very intense. Hard light adds color and decreases contrast. Hard light mode is complicated because the algorithm has two parts, one for darkling colors and one for brighter colors. If the layer's pixel values are less than half gray, it acts in screen mode. If over, then it acts in the multiply mode. Soft light will either darken or lighten the resulting image depending on if the base layers are lighter than half gray, it lightens. If darker than half gray, it darkens the image. Notice that black and white are totally black and white. 50% gray has no effect, and Moving on to grain extract. Inverts the colors and mutes the base layer's lighter areas and darker areas with an overlay of color. Grain merge is the opposite of grain extract. It mutes the base layer's lighter areas and darker areas with an overlay of color. Note that blacks and whites are not totally black and white. They're again affected by the color. Difference. Different causes black to have no effect. So any place there's black, you can see the original blue background. White has an overlay of the invert. And the lighter it gets, the more inverted the color gets. Addition combines the color values of the blended layer and the base layer. Black does not change the color in the base area. Any white in the area causes the image to be white. The resulting image is usually lighter. Subtraction is the inverse, including it inverts the color values. Black areas in the base cause the image to be black, while the white has an overlay of color. Darken only. The white has no effect. The black is totally black. The darker the gray, the darker the image. Lighten only. Black in the background has no effect, and the lighter the gray, the lighter the image becomes. Hue. For this demonstration, I'm going to do two things. You notice here that you see the background layer with hue. You see the blacks, the grays, and the whites. I'm going to cough. Excuse me. Oh, okay. However, if I change it and I put the blue layer on the bottom and the gray layer on the top and use hue on the gray layer instead, you get this wonderful pixelization of it. Isn't that an interesting difference in those two? Now moving the layers back to where they belong. Here's saturation. It causes a blended layer to take control over the saturation of the base layers, and there is a color distortion as well. But it's not color invert. That's red. That's not an inverted color. Now color, the colors of the blended layer replace the grays, but not the black or the white. And the last one is value. The blended layers, value and saturation are combined with the base layer's color. Since our base didn't have any color, it was black, white, and gray, that is the resulting image. You're always welcome to visit me at my shop, The Perfect Gift in West Haven, Second Life. Just teleport off my first profile pic. I have lots of tutorials and kits available there. While you're here, please join my group, Calla's Classes and Workshops. I teach many free classes, including free-to-download programs like Plop SL, Rokuro, QAvimator, Puppeteer, as well as building skills in jewelry making. I also teach a 10-week course, The GIMP for Second Life. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope it helps you understand modes. I have other tutorials on YouTube as well. I also have Layers and Modes Part 2, the demonstration on YouTube. Be sure and look for it. Thank you again for watching, and bye now.